Leaving Alice Springs on our way to Darwin, we stop in at the dump point near the showgrounds. Birds of prey overhead are absolutely fascinating, circling around en masse. It's a long, straight road with few sights to see, but we'll show you some of them now.
Stopped off for a bit of lunch and oh, hello. Yeah, stopping off tonight outside the Devil's Marbles Hotel. Cheers, Sweet Vanny Adams. And these other people, nice little free park up. The hotel does have a little caravan park out the back, but there's a huge section out here.
So it looks like these rocks have just landed here, like as if, I don't know, they've been thrown up from the earth and just scattered everywhere. But in fact, these shapes are created in situ from a much larger block of rock, and it's a process called weathering. It just means the rain gets in, the water gets in, oxidizes, I think, turns this stuff into clay, feldspar, and you can see you can see some weathering happening here where it gets the cracks, and then it gets underneath those cracks and sort of peels the skin away, and you can see how oxidized that is in those spots. So some sort of chemical geological reaction turns it into this stuff, and then that eventually becomes coarse sand, which you'll see down in the riverbank. Just over to our right there's a creek bed, and there's a fairly deep part of that creek bed which would be the water hole that holds the water for longest after the rain, but even so that eventually dries up. So there are some frogs and crabs that live here. The crabs, well, as it starts to dry up, they get themselves deep down where it's still a little bit moist, and then they close off the entrance to their burrow and kind of hibernate and wait for rain, I guess. I don't know if they hibernate. Maybe they're just awake. They're going, oh, come on. Anyway, also, there are frogs. Similarly, these frogs, water-retaining frogs, I think they're called. Anyway, as the water's really running out, they just bloat themselves full of water, bury themselves, and then gradually absorb that water through their stomach lining. But the Aboriginal people of this area, if they know where these frogs kind of hang out, I guess they know how to find them. When it's very, very dry and you're very thirsty, you can dig and find one of these frogs, and then you squeeze it like a lemon. Get your water.
So we made it to Bitter Springs, Mataranka. All of a sudden we were out of the sort of central desert area and into the tropics.
It's evidenced by palms and lush green vegetation and crocodile warning signs.
Yes, and mozzies. We've arrived in Katherine, and they've got their own hot pools as well, hot springs, and a saw metal thing to walk along. But you head up along this little bit of a trail. There's this gorgeous little section where you float down. We've made it. We've driven the breadth, not the width, but the breadth of Australia. Adelaide up to Darwin on the Explorer Highway, the Sturt Highway. We've come to... That's been our park up while we've been in Darwin at Allan's place.
We met Big Al on the Bibbulmun Track in 2020, and he truly is the host with the most. He's really active in his community, so we got to tag along to all kinds of walks and sunset drinks and a very special morning tea. But first, story time. It's World War II. The Japanese Imperial Navy attacks Darwin in February 1942, sinking 3 warships and 6 merchant vessels and killing at least 250 people. By the late 1950s, 7 shipwrecks remain in the harbour. A Japanese company, Fujita Salvage, wins the tender to salvage the wrecks. Around that time, the Uniting Church of Darwin was being built. Mr. Fujita Sr. arranges for the bronze from the wreck of the Zealander to be created into crosses for the church. It's an amazing act of reconciliation. Here's Mr. Fujita Jr. during the salvage, and then now celebrating his 80th birthday at the Uniting Church. There's a great display telling the Fujita Salvage story, and we're really honoured to be there. Oh yeah, and he dogged us in to do this talk on the Bibbulmun Track. It was really fun. Great people.
Beaches here in Darwin are just beautiful, but there's no one swimming. Crocs.
Welcome to Aviation Park, Fanny Bay. It's a cool little park that we found. Stumbled across it when we were out riding. It tells the story of the Great Air Race, which went from London to Australia back in 1919. £10,000 prize to the Aussies who managed to do it. Captain Ross Smith and his brother, Lieutenant Keith Smith, and other dudes. The plaques along the way give some highlights and lowlights of their journey. Pause to read if you're into it. And this one in Surabaya, where they got bogged, so they put down bamboo mats and things, but when they took off, the bamboo flew in all directions. Everyone had to duck for cover. But there's also an information board with all sorts of other aviation stories. I want to show her, she's my favourite. She was, what's her name? Jessie Miller. She was flying with her partner, Bill Lancaster, and she was the mechanic, and she learnt to fly during the trip, flying here from England. It took them 5 months. Hereabouts is where they landed,
And this road is actually part of the old airstrip that runs straight back down to the park where we just were.
For a cliched van life moment. Ooh, here it is. View from my bed. Not that we're sleeping here. Can we do a van life thing?
Yeah. Do a van life thing. Doing a van life thing.
In front of us you can see the classic members of the Darwin Rock Sitters Club who meet here every Saturday for sunset and have been doing so since 1974. They delighted in telling us that they were champions and had in fact beaten some Kiwis to the world record. Did you get that? Cut.
That can be in the end bit of the video where we ask for more subscribers.
No. Cut. Yeah. Ready for cliched. Well, look at the shit state of our van. Beep. Stop recording.